Welcome to another episode of Fave 5 from Fans, the podcast all about favorites. Welcome to the spooky season of Halloween. If you're watching this, and I've done my homework right, today is Halloween. So, happy Halloween. I am sitting in front of Baby. Right here. Look, it's right there. And I am joined by Miss Emily Blanchard, owner of Baby.
That's right.
Welcome to Fave 5. Well, actually, I guess thank you for having me here as we Zoom on remote for the Plastic Microphone Studios. This is so very exciting. Thank you for opening up your house and your home to us.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad you could make it out here. I know it's a little bit of a drive for you.
Yeah, it was the fact that they were moving, I don't know, a White House or something, because it took up all 3 lanes at some point, and it was 50 miles an hour, and it was... Anyway, I digress. We are here today because you had this amazing car at GalaxyCon, and it was right across from the booth, and I sat there and saw so many people come, and I'm just fascinated, so I had to come over and talk to you. And surprise, you're a big Supernatural fan. I would have never have guessed. I mean, maybe the clues were there in retrospect. I'm not quite sure, but anyway, we're here. And so I asked you if you would like to come on the show. You said yes, and obviously we were going to do Supernatural. Real quick, usually when I ask somebody to come on, it's, hey, what's your favorite episode? Or, hey, what are your favorite characters? You had something different you wanted to discuss. And so tell us why we're talking about what we're talking about today.
Well, Supernatural's a big show. It's a long show. And I think, most of the time what you see is people wanting to talk about favorite episodes or favorite seasons and breaking it down from there. And that's the most common. And I like to consider myself a little bit of a cinephile. And so I really enjoy the moments and the scenes and the bits and pieces that all come together to make one part of it, one small part of some episode, really bring everything together. And it could be a really innocuous scene. It doesn't even have to be a big important scene. And you're just like, wow, that was really well done. So I just think it's nice to draw some attention to those smaller moments, or those bigger moments that are smaller pieces that really don't get as much discussion.
So we're going to talk about our favorite moments or scenes from Supernatural. 17 seasons. How many episodes? 327
episodes, and it's actually 15 seasons.
It's 15?
15 seasons.
So, I mean, we're talking 15 seasons. So, at least, see, one of the reasons I get people to come on the show is because they know more about the show than I do. So, that was a test. You've passed.
Thank you.
So, I guess we can go ahead.
I mean, I hope so.
Oh, yeah. And I love the story of why you have this car. And we're going to, at our break, we're going to talk about how Baby came to be into your life and what your plans are for it in the future. But we're going to wait, because right now I'm so interested to find out. Do you have some honorable mentions?
I do, and this was really difficult because, as we just said, there are way too many episodes of Supernatural.
Yep.
And narrowing them down can be crazy. So you go from episodes then to scenes, like we were just talking about, and now you've got, I don't even know how many minutes of Supernatural there are. I'll let somebody else do that. Yeah.
So when we talk about honorable mentions, we talk about things that just couldn't make it into our Fave 5, or maybe they're just so unforgettable for not the best reasons, but I think these are going to fall into we just couldn't trim the list down enough. I know mine are like that.
So yes and no. I did actually make sure to pick one from personal memory when watching the series that I'm sticking in there as one of those, like, oh my God kind of moments. Okay. And there are many of those, I only put one of those in there.
That many minutes on the screen, they're not going to all be perfect.
No, they're not.
Well, great. Well, I think if you're ready, I'm certainly ready to dive in. Let's hear what your honorable mentions are.
Sure. Okay. So, I went ahead and, I'll go ahead and go through those ones that just didn't quite make the cut first.
Okay.
First of which would be from Don't Call Me Shirley, which is episode 20 of season 11, and that is when you find out that Chuck is God and has a whole conversation.
Chuck, damn it.
I know. But that's when he has the bar and he talks to Metatron and they're trying to write the story. And my favorite moment in their entire conversation actually comes from Metatron's speech.
Okay.
about humanity. Oh, really? Or
No,
okay.
Metatron was Booger in Revenge of the Nerds.
You like worried me there. Oh my god.
Classic cinephile.
Lord. And he's in so much too. He's
so
got
much.
so many cameos throughout a ton of movies and shows. But yet, wonderful moment where he says, "You're wrong about humanity." Thank you for that. Oh my god.
You realize that's staying in the episode, right?
Yes, okay, I get it.
Please continue.
So that's a great moment for sure. And there's actually a moment where in that same scene, when Metatron is trying to discuss things with Chuck, they're on a roll. They've got music playing. I think it's "Give Me Shelter" playing in the background. And he asks Chuck, why he was lonely, because he had Amara with him. And the music cuts.
Uh-huh.
As soon as he asks that, and it focuses on Chuck because he's like melancholy. And it's so great because there's another moment after that where like he's showing him the planet and there's thunder because he gets angry. So I'll skip over that. But those were all great little pieces, great little focuses because he's God, So following that up, if I could pick the entirety of an episode as a scene, I would. And that would be The Man Who Would Be King with Cass.
Okay.
Wonderful, and it's specifically the scene where he's questioning his faith. Obviously he's sitting on the bench for most of the episode when it cuts to him, but he's questioning his faith. He's trying to pray to God. He's trying to ask what he should be doing. Why isn't he answering? Again, Chuck. Where were you, man?
Yep.
But he's got a wonderful quote there that's absolutely poignant, and it's, "Freedom is a length of rope. God wants you to hang yourself with it." And it's so fitting for the supernatural universe.
Yes.
Because they make all these decisions, and it's always one that's biting them in the butt. So, phenomenal line.
That is
for
a great
sure.
line,
Yeah.
and it fits with who Chuck we ultimately.
It really
Chuck
does.
is.
It really does. Because he's just like, you do your thing. It's fine. Whatever works.
He's not a great deity.
No, he's
really
not.
not.
Yeah. So those were the more serious honorable mentions. The one that I have for last, it's very quick.
Okay,
Yes,
Wait, you did that one and then that one, so then this one is
It's 3.
No, that's okay. No. That's a lot less than some people have done.
Okay. So this comes from actually the second to last episode of the entire series.
Okay. Something happened in that episode. I can't remember what it was. It was a big event. It'll come to me.
I'm sure it will. This is before they come up with a plan. It's when Jack's like, "I feel something," and they go on their little road trip. They stop at a gas station. Dean finds Miracle.
Uh-huh.
Okay? The show had finished, and I hadn't kept up with it when it finished.
Okay.
So this was a couple years later. I knew about Miracle in the sense that I was like, I know Miracle's a dog, and they keep Miracle, which is its own miracle because Dean was not a dog person. And so I was
Except
like,
for that one time that Dean was a dog.
Exactly,
person,
and he totally wanted to keep that dog. Absolutely, they should have. But he finds Miracle, and I was like, this is where they get Miracle.
Yeah.
That's great. And, it's right after the whole thing with Cass, and you're still recovering. Eileen's gone. I was watching with a friend. We're crying on stream. We really think we should have recorded this. Because what ended up happening is we're both watching. He puts Miracle in the car, and poof, Miracle's gone. We had to pause. Because we...
Pause.
Yes.
Pause.
We had to pause because we broke out in an absolute hysterical fit of laughter and tears because we just had him recovered and now the dog's gone too. And he looks up and there's Chuck and we were like, can this come to an end? Like, can it stop? It was so the very prominent memory and honestly still the number one top.
That is... Oh, okay.
Don't, I know.
That's your freebie. Okay? We talked about this.
Oh, man. Yes.
All right. Well, that's really cool. That's a good one. That one was not even on my radar. The whole bench thing. Oh my god.
Well, you're sort of cool yourself, Jamie.
Oh,
thank you, Siri.
thank you, Siri.
Wow.
Oh, god, she loves me.
You're welcome.
I paid her. The lady technologies love me. Huh? What can I say? But the whole bench thing, of course, is I've seen on so many lists, and it's a very, very powerful scene. So those are some really great choices.
Thank you.
You're starting off strong. I like that. It's almost like you're an Uber fan.
Yeah, hopefully they continue to be strong.
So my 2 honorable mentions. See, I follow the rules when I want to, and I don't when I don't want to. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the Dean Koontz episode. But I'm going to start with one, which very much like what you just said, not only could this be a favorite scene, but this could actually be a whole favorite episode if we were doing that. And I'm talking about Season 3, Episode 3, Bad Day at Black Rock. Okay?
Wonderful episode.
We were so lucky to have this episode. So did there? We were lucky. So if you remember, Dean is having the luckiest day in his life. And when he gets to the end, they've got Sam tied up. 2 of the baddies are wanting the good luck charm, if I'm not mistaken, one wants. And so Dean comes in, and he just knows that nothing can go wrong for him. He ends up I think one guy throws something at him, and he misses it, and another guy. So he ends up picking a pen and throwing it, and it lands into the guy's gun, and ends up incapacitating the 2 guys. And Jensen just looks straight, and he's like, "I'm Batman." And Sam's just like, "Yeah."
Unamused.
Yeah. And I loved that one because it's so funny on a meta level, because we know later on Jensen Ackles really wants to play Batman in a movie, and
he's actually voice acted for Batman a few times.
One or 2 of the movies, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, a couple of the movies, and he also did Red Hood.
Okay.
So I think the character's name is Jason.
Jason Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really cool, because it still plays into that.
It does.
Yeah.
And I just the way he did it. And then, of course, at the end of the episode, you have one of the, and this is a whole nother show that we could do, is unscripted moments.
Oh, yeah.
So the episode ends, so they're at the cemetery, and they realize that all of the lucky lottery tickets he had been bought had been picked up, and the lady, I'm horrible about names, Bella, stole them, and he's like, "Son of a bitch!" You know?
Yes.
Which, again, son of a bitch shows up probably more than Bobby shows up in the show.
Easily.
Oh, he says it so many times.
Yes. And you mentioned unscripted. His little son of a bitch was unscripted.
Was unscripted, yeah.
And you can see Jared trying not to laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great.
So my other one is from another fan favorite. It could also be a favorite episode of mine as well. And it is Season 10, Episode 5, Fan Fiction. Okay, this is chef's kiss of an episode. The guys show up chasing, it was a muse? Was it a muse or? I can't remember.
I don't remember what drew them there. I think a death drew them there.
Yeah. And
it ends up being, I can't remember which goddess it is, but she's like there to protect the play.
Right.
So,
anyway, so they show up, and what play are they putting on? They're putting a play based on the supernatural books.
Yes.
By Chuck, which of course, there's a great scene early on where they go to introduce themselves and they pull the badges out and then they realize that it's them, and so they tuck it away. So they realize that the play musical is about them, so they have to kind of slide in. And there's these little bits throughout the whole thing. But again, in a totally unscripted moment, they are talking about the two actors, or actresses in this case, who play Dean and Castiel, are actually a couple in real life.
Yes.
And, he wants to downplay that, but the director says, well, you can't have subtext without sex. Mm-hmm. And there's a scene where Jensen then takes, and he looks straight at the camera, and he gives them one of these.
Yeah.
And he's talking to
full
the
on dead stare.
He's talking to the fanfic group, the slash groups, whatever, saying, I got you guys. And it's one of these things where it's funny in just a meta, but then when you learn more about what's going on in the real world
Yeah.
with what people are doing with those stories. It's just, and that's the show. The show is like the best bloomin' onion that you could ever ask for. It's got so many layers and it's got so many little treats in it. It's so good. And so those are going to be my 2 honorable mentions. So what do you think? Am I doing all right so far?
I think they're good. I think they're ones I genuinely wouldn't have even come to mind because there's just so much. I mean,
so
you
much.
talk about it, and one of the first things I want to do is go comment on, like, oh yeah, like, what did you think about Justin Bello? Like, you know, there's so much to cover. So thank you for bringing them up, because those are, you know, some of the more amusing ones that are always entertaining. So
Most of mine, I'll tell you, because of the way I live my life, most of mine are going to be humorous.
So we'll have a really nice vibe going on, because we'll switch between the serious and the
that's what
unserious.
I love about having a guest who knows the works so much, because you're going to have some really good ones. So speaking of some really good ones, I'm now ready to hear your number 5.
Okay, so this one was actually the easiest for me to put at the bottom, and I want to apologize in advance to anybody who scoffs at that. But obviously, it's not because it's not good. But at the bottom of my faves is going to be from Faith, which is just in season 1. So it's a very early take, and it's actually going to be the entire clip when they start with "Don't Fear the Reaper." And obviously it's because it's the first use of music that you really see what they're doing with this show, because
and music's so important to this.
So important.
So important.
And this is one that you can't even appreciate if you're watching on Netflix or any streaming service. It no longer has the song there, and that takes such a huge amount away from it. And you've got, so you've got the boys overlapping, starting to figure out what's going on and describing what's going on, and it cuts to the preacher starting his healing process. And I know this is when I tell you this is not at all typical. So you got the preacher starting his healing process, and it's cutting away to the woman on her jog being stalked by the Reaper, and it's I don't know, it's so well done, just cut, just coming together. So that, it's really, like I said, a pretty simple one for me. I will say I didn't know that Sarah Gamble wrote that episode.
Oh.
Who, of course, was the showrunner for 6 and 7, which, of course, was the Soulless Sam arc and the Leviathan arc. So I found that very interesting because, I actually, unlike many people, enjoy episodes from those seasons, even if I don't, they're not...
Fight the fairies!
Some of the best seasons, yeah, but they're enjoyable. And so that was really fun to take away, like, oh, hey, there's a phenomenal episode that many people love. And, of course, that I have a moment from that I really love. And then, of course, apparently... Hannah's actress is in that episode as well for the second time, because she's got another appearance in season 1.
Wow, okay. I love when they do that and they don't think we're ever going to notice.
Yeah, and then she's Hannah much further down the road, of course. Yeah. So that's just a lot to love, I think.
That's really great. I like that. I like that. All right, well,
I'd love to know yours.
Okay,
Go
mine
for
is fun. And I'm noticing as I put these down, this one's fun because it's season 11, episode 11.
Oh, okay.
I just love when they match up like that. I think it's when you're supposed to make a wish or something.
Yes.
It is called Into the Mystic.
Okay.
Okay. Now, first of all, Into the Mystic is probably one of Van Morrison's best songs of all times. So right away, I've got to love the episode. And this is the episode where they're chasing a banshee at a senior citizen's home, and they run into Eileen for the first time. Okay. I love Sammy and Eileen.
So great.
So great. Of course, there should be tons of spoilers, folks. I'm sorry about this. But
I'm not.
When she dies, oh, it broke me.
Twice.
I know.
3 times.
True. That's true. Forgot about that.
I feel like, is it 2 times or 3 times?
Definitely.
I'm going to go with at least 2.
Yeah. The first time, because I was like, poor Sam.
I know.
I mean, he loses and loses and loses, and his heart's just so many patches. And but anyway, so this is the first time that they meet, and they instantly have this rapport.
Right off the bat.
Just right off the He's got a little ASL there that he's trying his hardest. You know, he knows some of the stuff and whatnot. But my favorite part is at one point she's given him some information, and he goes to say thank you, not realizing that it's thank you, and this means something else entirely.
Do you know what this means?
Yes,
Because I don't.
It means F you.
That's great.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
So the look on her face when he does that is just, she's like, oh, you're so sweet. I know what you're trying to do.
So innocent. At least he tried.
Exactly.
See, I do know thank you, so I never would have,
I do that too, because my wife is an office manager for an audiology.
Oh, wow.
Has done it, audiologist, and has done it for 20 years now. And so I've picked up some, just a little. And so when I'm watching that episode, and even early on, I'm like, oh, that's so cute. They're so cute together. And he does that, I'm like,
whoops.
That is not what you think it means, Sam. And she doesn't even correct him. She just tells him it's this. And he goes, oh, okay. He's thinking maybe he just ordered a fruit cocktail or something.
Right.
No.
Thank you for telling me, because that's so entertaining.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's such good. And then again, later on, their little relationship just makes my heart grow 3 times that day.
When they kiss.
Oh, what?
It's great. So great. Oh my God, we're kicking our feet over.
Okay, we're going to do this
Yes.
the rest of the episode.
We are.
But let's do it next on year number 4.
Yes. Okay. 2 minutes to midnight.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So
There's fun in that episode?
absolutely not. I think everybody knows where this is going. Death. And I'm actually not talking about Death's entrance, although, come on. Like, give it up. Best in the entire...
I knew Death was a bad guy when I saw him when I saw him eating pizza with a fork and a knife.
It's a deep dish, though.
Still, he's a bad guy.
I know. Look, and I think Dean ended up taking a bite with a fork, too, and was like, it's not bad.
But I guess, when Death invites you for pizza,
what else are you going to do? Yeah. So,
sorry, go ahead, though.
Of course, his intro is iconic. We don't need to go over that. The actual scene that I am referring to is when Dean gets to sit down with Death and talk. And that whole conversation obviously is very big, like existential re-examination for Dean, I'm sure, and for anybody watching, because this is an entirely different, that's their first celestial being, so to say, that they interact with. And he's just on a completely other scale. I mean, he's got that whole quote about, well, how would you feel if you sat down to talk with a bacterium and it got snarky?
Exactly.
Like, you're nothing to me. I don't care that you felt like you needed to kill me. Let me do you a solid. So that entire interaction is so intense.
It really is.
And Dean is clearly terrified. He's like...
Yeah, he's
so am I done here, or what are we doing? It's great, and he even, it's kind of that first pushback you get where he kind of has the gall to be like, what are you doing with Chicago? And every interaction they have following that, Dean's a little bit of a prick as usual.
Yeah.
But
oh, come on.
I know, but it's so funny because anytime he has that sort of interaction with Death just has to look at him.
Yeah,
and Dean's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I didn't mean it like that.
So
I love the fact when Death tells him, I may be older than God. We're too old to even remember which one was first.
Exactly.
Such a great line.
And one day I'll reap him.
That's right.
And we all know that in fact will come to pass, even though by the end of the series technically it doesn't.
Yeah.
But it will. And then one of the interesting things that I read about for this episode has nothing to do with anything really in the episode, except for what they named the house, the location that Sam goes to, Sam and Cass, and Bobby, I guess, like Serenity Valley or something.
Okay.
Which is the name of a battle in Firefly.
Oh my God.
Because Mark Sheppard is in that episode and in Firefly.
He's the name of
Badger.
Badger.
That's
it. Yes.
Things I didn't know because unfortunately I have only seen a couple of episodes of Firefly.
Thank you, Chris and Google.
I know, which I really, really, I really should. Yeah,
Google.
I know. Chris and his wiki.
Yeah.
It's my husband. He Wikipedia's anything that he's slightly interested in. And he did watch Firefly. So
did Kirk.
Yeah. And Serenity, I guess, because isn't that the name
That's
of
the movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is how that's one of those few instances where fans were able to come in and be like, we want to know what this was supposed to be. So
I love, oh God. So when he was on
So
Castle.
season 16 will definitely happen, right? Because
yeah.
we're insistent. Yeah, anyway,
Right,
so
right.
go ahead. Yes.
So when, okay, I've just lost it. The actor.
Yes, Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion. So when Nathan Fillion is on Castle,
Yes.
later on, there's a Halloween episode, he dresses up like a brown coat.
Does he?
Yes, he does.
That's so
It
cute.
is phenomenal.
And it's so funny because now I know that connection exists, and don't they? Well, I was going to say, doesn't he have a crossover episode in Supernatural? But I don't think he does. I don't think he makes
I don't
an
think
appearance.
he is
I'm
the
thinking of
priest.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, no, but he's also in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes.
Yes, he's
yeah.
a priest, demon, devil guy.
He was made for being in supernatural stuff,
Oh,
and
so was.
he's such a nerd. I love it.
I
I
do
love
too.
when the nerds are also nerds.
Yes, yes. It makes it so real.
It does.
Oh,
So what about you though? Because
Well-
let's keep that levity up.
Thanks for asking. My favorite episode, moment, early on, is from season 2, episode 7.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to sit here and tell you, definitely one of the reasons that this episode moment is mine is because Linda Blair
Yes.
is in it. Okay? Linda Blair is so phenomenal in this. I understand that early on, oh, look, we have a tractor now.
Yes, this does happen somewhat
Okay.
regularly.
So early on, I understand that they tried to get Linda Blair in like season 1 to come onto an episode.
Okay.
And, they talked between the agents and whatnot, and it just didn't work out. So when this episode came around, Kripke actually went to Linda Blair, had a sit down with her, and basically just told her, this is the episode that we've written for you. We want you to be in it.
Please come do it.
And she did, okay? And it's a great episode. Sam and Dean are investigating the murders of a lawyer and his wife. And in getting caught up all in it, literally, Dean gets caught with his hands in the cookie jar when the wife, I believe, was murdered. And he's trying to, and they come in and arrest him. So along the way through the episode, she eventually finds out what they're really about and what they're really doing to save them. There's some really cool little... But the favorite part is at the very end, when she could have arrested them, but she knows what they're doing. They're doing the Lord's work, and lets them go. And as they're walking out, I even wrote down the exchange, as Dean says, hey, did she look familiar to me? And Sam goes, no, why? I don't know. Anyway, you hungry? No. And then Dean says, man, for some reason, I could really go for some pea soup.
Yes.
I was sitting there with Tina and Lily, and I was like, oh my God, they went there. And they're both looking at me like, well, actually, they're not that surprised anymore because the stuff that comes out of my mouth. But that was just such a meta moment.
I mean, how could they not?
How could they not?
Make some illusion.
Yeah, or, oh girl, that detective makes my head spin. I mean, there could have been so many of them, but the pea soup. And the fact that Dean is always hungry.
Always.
He's always eating. I mean, from the very first, what was it, the cocktail wieners.
That's correct, yes. That's the very first instance.
Yeah, up until the turducken sandwich and so many times. The lizard, when there's the episode when they're in purgatory.
Yes.
And
don't tell me it tastes like chicken. No, I'm not going to tell you it tastes like chicken. It tastes like lizard.
Right. And then the monster comes and they go to run off, and Dean turns around and he runs back and he grabs the lizard and runs back off with it.
I guess
which was
it's not
another
too different.
unscripted moment.
I love him.
Yeah,
he's great.
These two guys, we could talk about it. They are perfect examples
phenomenal
of when actors, phenomena.
Okay.
When two actors are their characters.
They are.
They knew.
They know what
guys.
they're doing.
Oh my God! So there's a whole thing. Miss Mojo, shout out. She's a huge fan of the show, by the way. Yeah. There's a whole 30 favorite times that unscripted things stayed in the episodes.
Yeah.
So I would say check that out. That helped me a little bit. I'll give Miss Mojo help. But, okay, anyway, now we're down to our third favorite.
All right.
I'm wondering, is it, when someone's head got ripped off, or what yours is going to be?
So mine are never any of the violent ones.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
I don't even rely on like fight scenes or any of that stuff. Mostly because I'm not very good, in my opinion, at picking apart when a fight scene is well choreographed. I mean, there's always some that you're like, okay, I could tell that was fake. Like there's like a pause there that you didn't need. We won't even get into the Michael Lucifer acrobatics.
What? That was so on
No,
top.
absolutely not. So, no, my next one though. So it's not what I would call a depressing one, but it is of course another serious one. But this has more to do with the artistry behind the camera than anything.
Okay.
And it comes from the season finale of season 4, Lucifer Rising.
Okay.
Number one, I'm just going to come out with the fun fact ahead of time because it's
as presented by Red Dr. Rain.
Yeah, absolutely. What is that?
It's a whole other thing. Jeff, we love you. Anytime you say fun fact, it's fun fact is sponsored by Red Dr. Rain. Jeff owes me a quarter.
All right, well, great. I'll say it again. Fun fact, the first and final episodes of Season 4 have matching titles. Lazarus Rising is Episode 1, which is Castiel's first appearance and pulling Dean from hell. And so the reference there in Lazarus Rising is always one used for resurrection.
Okay.
So obviously that comes into play for Dean. And Lucifer Rising caps off the end of the season, and it's Lucifer is coming up from hell. So not so much a resurrection, but they're both being brought up back from hell.
Right.
So I really like those two corresponding. It actually took me until this year, sadly, to even notice that was a thing. When you get so absorbed in other parts of the show.
Yeah,
anyway, I just wanted to tackle that one first because I think it's entertaining and very, it's a little tidbit. Dean in the green room, which, is that really fancy room that's supposed to be some sort of like locked off bubble from heaven or hell, depending on how you want to see it, where they're like, you stay here, think of it as your staging area, and they're keeping him trapped away from Sam, which he doesn't know for a while until he starts trying to get out. And then Zachariah appears.
Oh, what a jerk.
And Dean starts being like, okay, I want answers. How are we supposed to be doing this thing? And that's when Zachariah starts telling him, well, you're not. We're waiting until Lucifer comes out and how we're going to end this. So we were never going to stop Lucifer coming out. What we're going to do is you're going to fight Lucifer. You're going to help Michael and you're going to get it done. They still don't tell him that he's going to be Michael's vessel.
Yeah.
But when they're explaining this,
Does he explain that whose Lucifer's vessel is? Is that already known?
No. I don't think so. Yes. So that's the vessel thing. I think really comes up in the final season. So they're having this whole conversation about Dean's like, what about the earth? What about the people? So you want the apocalypse? And Zachariah's like, oh, that's bad marketing, and we're going to bring about paradise on earth because we're going to win, because we're heaven. And in this whole spiel, and it's only a few minutes, through this whole spiel, from start to finish, when Zachariah leaves, the saturation and color gradient completely changes. It goes from this beautiful white, vibrant, where you can see the gold and these warm tones.
I think I remember this.
Yeah, and it cools all the way down into like more of like the season 1, season 2 vibes, where it's kind of like a gray and
like muted,
and blue,
for sure. Yes.
Very muted. So it's sucking out that little bit of hope and faith that Dean was having and experiencing, and you're in this opulescent room, and it's supposed to be this fantastical moment where you're like, oh, heaven, I'm fighting for heaven, heaven's doing the right thing. And through this realization, is coming to terms, it's bringing him back down to reality. Heaven and the angels really just aren't who they say they are. They don't want anything better. And it's also the first time where he references, well, where is God in all of this? And Zachariah says, he's gone, man.
Yeah.
Left the building. So
With Elvis, probably.
yeah, absolutely phenomenal work with that coloring. And I learned that they also made some allusions about, he's got his choice foods on the table. And that's supposed to be an allusion towards the garden and the tree of life and the fruit of knowledge. And that partaking would be to doom humanity, like he's given in. And when he does go to take a bite is when Castiel appears and stops him.
Okay.
And later, when Adam's in the green room, he eats it because he's agreed. So that was really, really
That's
cool.
really cool.
Yeah.
It's like these guys sat down to really think about what they were doing.
I know, who would have thought,
Crazy.
right?
I would, that's for sure. Wow.
So what about you? We're getting close here.
Okay, so my number 3, you're not going to believe this.
Oh boy.
It's another funny one.
Oh.
Okay?
Well.
But it is
I'm shocked.
Scooby Natural.
Well, okay.
All right. It is I love when we see Dean as the boy, the child.
Yes.
That he didn't really get to be.
No.
And then you find out that there are these small little pockets of his boyhood that he had that we really never really thought about. Okay.
Mm-mm.
So so basically, 17 get transported. And is Castiel?
Castiel too.
Yeah, Castiel
he
too.
shows up a little bit after.
Right.
I think.
Okay. So they get sucked into a television again, which I love the television episodes. Wait, I love the episodes about the television episodes.
Yeah, you
Anyway,
can't beat changing channels.
So they get pulled in, and they're literally in a Scooby-Doo episode. And Scooby and the gang are going. I think Scooby saved an old rich man from drowning, and now that he's died, he's left them his mansion or something.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to go and do this. And of course, as soon as they're there, Dean is so excited because obviously he's been carrying a torch for Daphne this whole time.
Yes.
And Fred is just a jerk. And he talks about no matter where we were, every time we were hunting, every crappy motel we were in every small town, there was always a TV, and that TV was always playing Scooby-Doo. And you're like, oh,
I know.
That's that little boy Dean. So this is really great.
He deserved so much.
So much. He really does. But my favorite moment is when of course, the two shows are all about people hunting down monsters and solving the mystery and saving people. But in Scooby-Doo, it's always a person, and you take the mask off. But in Supernatural, they're mostly real monsters. Except, and I don't want to get off too far on a tangent here, but some of the worst monsters in the show, Supernatural, were humans.
Yes.
Because a monster is going to be a monster. A monster do what a monster do. But humans choose to do the wicked, wicked things they do.
Everybody talks about the Benders, and I get it, because that was the first episode where they did that. And then there's the one where, like, the family is living in the walls of the house, which I've got to go back and rewatch that one, because I'm sure it was creepy as heck. But for me, it's when they find that, oh my God, I can't remember her name right now, but it's a girl who's psychic, like Sam, and her family has kept her chained up in the basement and said that she died because she was very sick.
Right.
Oh my, that whole episode, it's just heartbreaking.
It is. It is.
And then they save her and Ketch kills her. I was like, no, absolutely not.
Almost
it's terrible.
every British agent.
Oh no.
Horrible. Even the ladies of letters.
Don't get me started on Tony.
Oh,
Don't get me started. At least Ketch gets a redemption arc. I actually enjoy him later, but Tony.
Yeah.
Zero redeeming qualities.
But anyway, so my favorite moment,
yes,
my number 3, is when they literally explain that monsters are real. And poor Fred, of all of them, just breaks down like his whole life has been a lie. Every time that he does. And so then, even though he knows that, this is a point where, Fred's losing it all. This is my point. I could go get Daphne. Dean tells him, but you don't realize what you have been doing. all along. And even though we're fighting real monsters, you're the one who can make a trap to catch them.
Yeah.
And he instead of just taking advantage of it, he takes what ends up being his rival, his whatever, and makes it his companion, his peer, and then they go to save it. And yet, in true Dean fashion, there's an F-bomb dropped in there, too. And I'm
so
like,
great.
oh, gosh.
So great.
But I love that whole episode is just, when the mystery van races Baby.
Yeah.
Smokes him. And it's like, but it was a red light. Fred! It was such a Khan moment from Wrath of Khan where Kirk screams his name. I was just, oh, man. It just goes to show you that an animated supernatural show would fly.
It really would. It really would. I'd be down with a season 16 animated supernatural.
I would too.
Yeah.
The only thing is I'd want season 16 to take place between maybe 14 and 15, or between one of the, because I don't want to do it without Dean.
Oh God, no! You could not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times we've brought them back to life?
Oh.
If there's a season 16, you're having all of them.
Yes, you have to.
And
no cast. Come on.
No, exactly. Do not bring my show back without my angel. You guys are looking at the front of the car. The license plate is literally Castiel. So you know who my favorite is.
Yeah.
But Jensen has actually said at a con before during a panel that, he believes, between the second to last episode and the last episode, there's like 5 years there.
Exactly.
And he's like, put season 16 there. And
right
I'm
there.
like, absolutely.
Yeah,
do that.
I understand that they're expensive to do. So do it animated. You could have all of this stuff there, and then you could bring everybody back.
Yeah, then you wouldn't have to worry about how busy people's schedules are either.
Exactly.
Because
it's just record when they can record.
Yeah.
All over.
They proved they could do it.
Yeah. So
I think they did all right.
I am with you, girl. Okay, well, we're going to take a little break now that the parade has died down. And I want to know so much about Baby and you and the Impala lifestyle. So tell us, how did you get involved in this?
So, we've mentioned, this is obviously not my first time watching Supernatural. At least, hopefully, I haven't given that impression off. Because this would be quite a commitment for not even finishing the show. But I went a very long time not watching it. And I have an international best friend. She lives very far away. We met in college, not in college, but online.
Far away?
She lives in Brazil.
Oh.
So our time zones are a little bit different. They're not as different as you think. They're 2 hours, although once we hit fall, back whatever, it's 3 hours, so that's super fun. I say all this because she and I were both fans of Supernatural, however many years passed, and we were both interested in getting back into it because we both were fully aware that it had ended and had originally anticipated catching up to it at the time to watch it end. Because that was during COVID, so, plenty of people did also pick it up then at the time and just never got around to it. So we're like, well, why don't we sit down and rewatch it together and get all the way through the end together, because we both made it very far.
Okay.
So we did. We sat down and we watched all the way through, and it was awesome. It was a great time. And I just kind of never let go of it after that.
Okay.
And I started making my husband watch it. He is truly a saint.
Was it like pulling teeth to get him to watch it?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. For sure, 100%. Don't worry, I know, yeah.
Dentist, sorry, I had to go there.
Honestly, it really is. But all that to say, it wasn't the first thing on my mind. He actually, my husband's car is parked in front of us. It's an LC 500, and it was kind of his dream car. So we had gone on a trip to a place that he really wanted to go, kind of last minute. And when we got back, that car had been up for sale sort of locally in Lafayette at a really good price. And I was like, you know what? You've worked really hard. It's been a few years that you've been out of school. Well, get get this, make it your treat to yourself. So I let him get it.
Such a good wife.
I talked him into it, genuinely, because I was like, I don't need to get it. I was like, just go look at it, go get it. So we did, and it made him so happy, right? He loves driving it. And that was it was like the start of May, end of April, something like that. And it's like a few months later, okay? It's not that much later, where I just kept seeing that people could get the car.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, but what if I did that? What if I just did that? What if I just got that? He got it.
Right. I mean, he went and did what he wanted.
He did that. We put PPF on the front, which is very expensive, in case you guys don't know. It's
what is PPF?
So it's paint protection film.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so quite so
the bugs are...
the work is in the name, so it does that. Yeah, exactly. Bugs, little chips and stuff. It's like self-healing, so you don't even have micro scratches.
Oh.
It's really cool. Yeah, you avoid swirls and all that. I'm gonna get that for
baby.
Artemis. Yeah, at some point.
That's true. We need to talk about too, because
yes.
The
so we're getting there.
Artemis. Yeah.
Yes, so we're getting there. So I don't really know what tipped me into it, but I just started. I have ADHD.
Okay.
So hyper-focusing is no stranger. And so those things can come and go. And I did kind of sit down and was like, what if this just disappears? But I really want it. I really want it. And I was like, but he really wanted a classic. He hadn't talked about it in years. He'd brought it up. He was like, I would want a classic project one day.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, this is years ago. I was like, maybe when we have actual money, which isn't to say that we do.
Yeah.
But we had recovered a good bit of what we had pulled out of savings to put a deposit down on his car. And
Does this car have a name?
Yes. It's a play on words. It's Elsie.
Elsie. Okay.
Because it's
Elsie and Artemis.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're very cool side by side, actually, because you get this really sleek, modern classic that he judges it because it's a V6 still. So he thinks it's going to hang on to its value that way because they are just not making those anymore.
Okay.
It's very beautiful and sleek lines and curves. And then you put it right next to Baby, and you get an entirely different era of this beautiful muscle car. I mean, they're two very different, but beautiful. Anyway, so I got to this point where I started sort of bugging and harassing him. I was like, well, what if we just get a project car? We could get one for like
because
10
you
grand.
Want one. I mean, it's why.
Exactly.
I'm doing
you
this
want
for
to work
you.
on a classic. This would be the classic I want. And, we just got yours. We recouped some of the money. We just spent this amount of money putting a PPF film on your car. We went to dinner for his dad and his mom's anniversary, I think. And we were sitting down and said, did you bring it up with him yet? Because he likes to have conversations with his dad about big decisions.
Why do I get this image of you sitting on his shoulder with some little red horns?
Oh my God.
Have you talked to your dad yet? Oh, your dad.
We were
really
literally at dinner, and I looked at him across the table. I was like, has he told you about this? And so they start talking about it. And I looked at him because he's trying to counter, and I had like stuff on my phone saved already. And I was like, if we got a project one, you're talking like 8 to 13 grand, right? That's not too bad. That would be a big project, but you could do that. And you just build on it for a while, and it'd be fun. You make memories.
You and your dad could work on it together.
Exactly.
I'm looking to bond.
It's a family project. That's exactly it. The experiences you can get out of it. That's exactly correct.
I can say.
Thank you.
You're a giver.
Usually I am. So this is me being really selfish. And I was like, well, what do you think, right? I asked his dad across the table, and he looked me in the face. He's like, sweetheart, I don't think he's got a leg to stand on. So that really did it, and I happened to get in touch with people who were in this world already. Joey, I'll mention Joey. He owns Singer Auto. It's his own. So he did name it after the show.
I was fixing to ask you.
Yes, he's in North Carolina, I believe, and so he's got his own car shop, and he also owns at least one Baby, and his is a screen used Baby.
Oh, wow.
From season 11. It had sat on the lot for a while. It was white. It had actually been in the background of Bobby's Salvage Shop, I think, before. And then in season 11, for the episode Baby, they were like, we're going to bring it up to speed, and they used it for some interior and exterior shots. It wasn't one of the hero models, obviously, but that's the one that it is. So he has that one, and its name is Baby Sis.
Okay.
So Joey's great. I started reaching out to him, be like, where do I look for this car? I had messaged somebody else because it had come into one of the groups, and I said, where did you find your car? And I joined them all, and I started looking. I started posting. I had alerts. I was on every feed imaginable, eBay, Craigslist.
You were just so committed to this with your husband.
I was doing it. I was getting it taken care of. I was weeding out the scams. I was getting familiar with what the correct price points are. You have to know where the car comes from, because when they're old, if they're coming from, anywhere that it snows, you might be screwed.
Right.
It's this whole thing. So what ended up happening, it was really interesting. 1 week, a guy, so we were genuinely only trying to look for project cars, under 20 grand, okay? Like, if it ran, great. Otherwise, we'd borrow a trailer and we'd go pick it up, kind of thing. Somebody posted their replica that they had finished. Mm-hmm. They just didn't do a trunk build.
Now, when you say a replica, that means that some of the parts are not original parts? Or does that mean that it just is built to look like the car show? Right,
so in this terminology, there are going to be two different terms for baby builds. So no matter what, a 67 Chevrolet hardtop is going to be your exact. And then there are the tribute cars. When you refer to one as a tribute car, it's a four-door post sedan.
Okay.
So you roll the window down and it still has the pillar.
Yeah.
You open the door and it's got a whole frame around the window. The hardtop doesn't have any of that. You roll the windows down and it's the one big open window.
Okay.
So the sedan's a tribute, the hardtop's your replica.
Okay.
So he had a four-door hardtop, and they had done it to spec as to the best of their ability, as most people do. Some things people tend not to change for preference or one reason or another, and I think for him it had just been like the I cannot think of what it's called right now, but it's the top
inside
part.
Roof.
Yeah, well,
header?
But there's another headliner. Thank you. So the headliner was black, and he hadn't done a trunk build, but it was a replica, so it was a baby build. So there wasn't much to do. And that was listed at like 45, which is what I learned is going to be the case for any of these in running, driving, beautiful bodywork condition, basically 100%.
45,000.
Yes.
Okay.
And they can go up from there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Depending on what you have in the engine and stuff. So I sat on it. We were inside, and I was like, should I try? Can we think about this? Like, I texted him, I was like, do you want to do this? Should we even consider it? That's the price of a brand new car.
Plus, this is no longer a project car, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
That is, you just own the car. It's done. And
unbeknownst to you, it's never really done, though, right?
No, it's not. Especially now. So he was like, yeah, you know what? Go for it. Swing for it. And I did. I shot the guy a message. It was right before a long weekend. We ended up being like the fifth people to message because I didn't shoot him a text earlier in the day when I thought about it, because I didn't really, it's not like I could offer.
Yeah.
And so we all had to wait through the long weekend because somebody else beat them to it. I raised our price a little bit because we were willing just to get second contact if she didn't come through, but she did.
Oh, okay.
So like, okay, no harm, no foul, but now I know how far we're willing to go.
Yeah.
Right? That was his mistake. So now I'm looking for, I'm like, if one comes across that's there,
yeah,
and it's in our price point, let's go for it. A week later, somebody posted one in California. It was white and black. So it's not done, but it's beautiful running driving condition. Only needed a little bit of body work with a couple of rust areas.
And it's California, so.
Yes, and he was willing to do the rust repairs for us and put it into part of the price. And we were like, okay, we can swing with that, right? He couldn't arrange for parts of it to get taken care of in time for us to get out there right away. So it would have been the following weekend. In that time frame, this one got posted.
Okay.
So this is unheard of, because now you've got 2 replica cars posted in these groups 2 weeks apart.
Okay.
It does not happen. This one
so you
was...
bought both of them.
Right, yeah. This one was located outside of Atlanta, north of Atlanta.
Oh.
It's not a terrible drive. We reached out. We decided to make the offer as quickly as possible. I felt really bad because we had offered this other guy. He was working with us on it. And once we had everything agreed on by the new person, I shot him a message to say, hey, I want to tell you we can't go through with it. My husband didn't necessarily want us to be 100% truthful because, it's nobody's business if we couldn't, maybe get the money or something. But we had been talking a lot, and he's very friendly, so I thanked him for his time. And I said, unfortunately, there was another one we just couldn't pass up. Partly because she's already black.
Right.
That's a huge expense done off the bat. There's no body work needed, no repaint needed. So we were willing to do that, running and driving, and it had an AC installed.
Okay.
The California one didn't, and we would have had to drive from California to here. And it was the end of August.
A lot of hot miles.
So yeah, it was really hot. So he was really understanding. We actually went ahead and paid him a couple grand, I think, just for his time and for some of the work he had already done.
Sure.
So he was really great.
I'm sure he had no trouble selling it anyway.
So what ended up happening, he was really great, is we stayed in touch. We still keep in touch on Facebook, and he updates me, because what happened is he had one that was more of a project. So he was regularly driving that one. And he had one in his garage that was more of a project that he planned to make a baby build of. And he was still planning on keeping that one and selling the one that didn't need as much work. And it fell through when somebody else was going to get it. He decided to keep it for himself and then sell the project one, and then make the one that he already knew was good functionally and turn that one into his replica. So now he's working on that. It's actually in the paint phase right now. It's looking beautiful. Yeah, so we keep in touch. He asks me, if he's trying to find a part, he asks me where I found mine. I'll send him links and stuff. So worked out great.
Good.
We drove all the way to Georgia, and we picked up this beauty.
Artemis?
That's right. Yes, and so I decided to name her Artemis. It's very commonplace in the baby owner field to pick a name that has to do with supernatural. Mm-hmm. So most people name it after a character of some kind. So there's an Impala called the Darkness. There's one, Jensen named somebody's Impala Lucille. I think both of those are 4-door sedans, so they're not hardtops, but that's really cool. There's Sammy the Metallicar in Florida. Of course, Baby Sis is technically named in production because Jared's car is Lil Bro.
Okay.
And then there's Dean the Impala. I think somebody has Charlie. Somebody has Rowena, which is a red 67. And they made her trunk, her weapons cache, like a potions cache with a cauldron and everything.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so really cool stuff. Oh, your back fell. Oh no.
That's okay. I'm gonna finish it off as a stool.
It is one. So I named mine Artemis as a wink and a nudge, because Artemis is the Greek goddess of the hunt.
Yeah, okay, I thought so.
So
very nice.
Yeah,
very
nice little, yeah. And people who don't know don't really, they're like, oh, it's a cool name, so loved it. And I didn't put that on her license plate. I could have, it would have fit, and I'm sure it would have been available, but Castiel is the license plate.
Because you love you, Cass.
Yes, and I was having a hard time picking out a custom plate because finding one that fits the theme, most of them are taken. So there's actually one that isn't that I have thought about switching to. I no longer remember what it is at the moment, but this is a good one. I like it. So I'm probably going to, I've had it for a year now. I don't plan on getting rid of it. But, so we got Artemis.
There you go. And so you take Artemis to all kinds of shows. That's how we ended up meeting, was there at GalaxyCon. Being that it's Halloween, or after if you're watching that. What are you doing for the rest of 2025?
Yeah, so this is our first year doing this, which is, obviously because we only got her a year ago.
Right.
And I don't know how to stress that was not the goal. I told my husband, I assured him we would not be trying to go to any conventions or events.
Wow. God, so you
in
just
the first
lie
year.
straight to his face constantly.
I
see what, okay. No. I mean,
what happened was,
I mean, you know.
because she wasn't a replica. She wasn't. She was most of the way there, but she was somebody else's replica.
Right.
So there was a lot to do. I could go through the laundry list, but just to like really hammer it home, obviously we had to do the entire trunk build, and we did an entire gut of the interior and replace the interior because none of it was correct.
Okay.
And I had to respray a lot of stuff. So, you know, a lot going on there.
Had to put little action figures.
Part of why,
places.
yes, and part of why that ended up working out so quickly is because when we did the interior, it all happened at once.
Okay.
Because we couldn't really do it in pieces. When we needed to do the carpet and take out the mildewing carpet because there was a leak, we had to take the seats out. So I was like, well, we have the seats out right now.
Right, half the work's done.
I might as well bring them to get redone.
Right.
So boom, now you've got the seats and the floors done. It's like, well, we're doing that. I might as well get the doors.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
so
it just makes, you're trying to be, using the best use of the time and your money.
exactly, because otherwise we'd be taking it
Thank you
apart
for,
again and
looking
again
at
and again. So to avoid having to take it apart 1,000 times, that's what ended up happening. Was a lot of the work got done in the first few months. I wouldn't say the doors and the trunk, though. We did those in like March, April, May-ish. March, April. And we had a lot of steering issues. And yeah, so anyway, the first con was on my birthday at our local convention here in St. Tammany. And that was St. Tammany Collectors Convention. So they do it twice a year.
Yep.
We're actually not
They're
going...
familiar with it.
Yes, we're actually not going to be at the one this November. I'm mostly deciding against it for the future because they just don't have the space. It's not their fault. I love going there. Well, we would probably go as attendees. We normally do. But we are planning on being at a convention that weekend. So to go in order here, though, since we're on a roll, what we've got coming up, by the time this airs, we'll have already gone to Mobile. We'll be in Mobile next weekend for the South Alabama Comic Con, but we will go there next year. So if you're watching this a year from now, I guess keep that in mind. And between now and then, we'll have the the Richmond Nightmare Weekend, which is hosted by the same people who do GalaxyCon.
Okay.
Very far away. I will be trailering the car. I will never be doing that one again, so next year don't go if you plan to see me there. But when this airs, if it is in fact airing on Halloween, as you said, timing-wise, we will actually be at the Final Friday Block Party, which is located in downtown Covington. They do it every month, the last Friday of the month, and the last Friday in October is always a trunk or treat for the car show, because they have a car show for every block party, but this one specifically is, of course, going to be a trunk or treat for Halloween. So we will be out there because ever since we got the car, I've insisted once we had the trunk built, we would participate in Halloween by filling the trunk with candy, especially because it's got the sigil and everything. It's very much, that's the whole vibe.
That is the whole vibe.
So much fun.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, that'll be on the 31st in downtown Covington. You cannot miss it. But you will be parking on side streets and in neighborhoods. It's not a far walk, I assure you.
It's worth the walk.
It really is. And they, the restaurants and shops stay open. They have food trucks. It's a really great time. It's really, really cute. So we'll be doing that for Halloween. And then in November, we are planning to, I would be more concrete about this, and if the time comes, I'll have you maybe put a little disclaimer to say if we will be there.
Liar.
Yes, truther. So there is Nightmare Weekends in Savannah.
Okay.
And that will be...
another trailer? Or will you drive her?
No, yeah, that's a trailer as well. So that will be mid-month in November as well. So I believe that's the... I would pull it... Again, we're just going to put the dates down there. But it's mid-month in November in Savannah, Georgia. Part of why we're doing those, because even though they're far, especially the Richmond one, is because Emily Swallow will be there again.
Okay.
And she has more than shown interest.
She signed it already, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So Emily Swallow plays Amara in Supernatural. So if you haven't gotten there, she's in season 11.
And she's also the armorer.
Yes, she is. She's the armorer in Mandalorian. She's a wonderful person.
We dated in high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, she's super sweet. So I wouldn't have any issue believing that she'd be like, absolutely, like, you know, you guys are hanging out, going on movie dates. An angel. So yeah, she was very excited to be the first to sign the car, and she showed interest in doing photo ops.
Oh, cool.
So fingers crossed, she's working on it. I'm working on it. I don't know how much, I don't think either of us really know how much sway we have to nudge, but we are working on that and hoping that we can get that going. So that'll be for those two. And then in December, the first weekend in December, which I think is like the 5th and 6th, is going to be Cajun Con.
The first Cajun Con.
The first Cajun Con, hosted by Scott.
Yes, Scott Ennis, the voice of Scooby-Doo.
That's right, and he actually slapped a Scooby Natural magnet on,
that is so
on the
awesome.
trunk, so it's stuck there now because it got glued by the heat. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. It goes there. So lots of fun, and it's thanks to Scott that we're even doing any of the cons that we have done so far and been able to get into the bigger ones like GalaxyCon because, he reached out to his buddy at VXV, and so that's been really cool. So yeah, we'll be at his, and he is planning on...
I'll be there too.
Yes, and he is planning on bringing the Mystery Machine, and we're going to be putting them side by side.
Oh, God.
As people come in, I believe, is the
cool.
idea that he's got in mind. So we're really, really excited about that one for sure. So we got that, and then just because it's coming close, I know we haven't been able to submit for the registration yet. It's not available to us yet, but we are hoping to be a part of Fan Expo NOLA, which is usually the first weekend in January, but it's actually the second weekend in January this year. So
great con.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye out for those things. I don't even know if we'd hear back about that one by the time this airs, but
yeah.
I do have a Facebook page where you would be able to keep up with all of that, as well as a website, which is on the Facebook page. So if you are going looking, it's Artemis the Impala. So you'll be able to keep up with any updates and events that we have going on. I'll be sharing the podcast on there when it's available. I've got a lovely TikTok page of edits for Artemis and things we're doing with Artemis. So we'll share all of that. We do have an Insta. I'm really bad at updating it. But I do try to put the, con photos and things on there, and some of the edits that I put on TikTok as well do go on there. So I've got all the main stuff covered. So we'll put it in.
Have all of it, and then at the end we always have a card with all your stuff, and it'll be in all the show notes as well.
Okay, great.
It's gonna be a long show notes now, but that's okay. I like that.
It is. It's gonna be a long show notes. I won't even get into the Etsy part. We'll just leave that out. That's not really pertinent to my lovely baby here.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's awesome.
Thank you very much.
And
She's
again,
a lot of work.
Thank you, for opening up your house, opening up your driveway, to the show. We really appreciate it, and it's fantastic. Now, one thing, and I'm putting it at the end in case we want to cut it out.
Sure.
I didn't hear how much you paid for Artemis.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to share that or not.
No, that's okay. So, as I was talking about, we learned what the going rate was. We did pay $40.
Okay. So you paid less than you would have paid in California for something closer to what you actually wanted.
Yeah, I think California, we were running, we had bartered him around to like 20-ish.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The other one that was already black before that one.
Oh, okay. That one was 45.
We would have, so he was at 45. Multiple people had offered 40, so the lady who did end up getting it got it for 40. We had offered up to 42 to be second in line.
Gotcha.
So we would have paid more for that one, and we still would have had work to do. We don't know how much.
Yeah.
And that's really the kind of the barter is, we've put in 10 grand or more easily already. And that's, on mechanical repairs as much as all the aesthetics. And the number one thing that I can tell you is the bumper guards on the front and back. So the front are going to be the most difficult to find. The back you can usually come across. But these in good condition. I found a guy who had a whole set. He does his own rechroming, and he is in California actually, and he had listed the whole set for, I think $1,800.
Okay.
And just the front ones go for like $1,000 or more.
Oh, okay.
So I hopped on it. I was like, I don't care what point in the project we are, I'm getting them because you never know when you'll come across them.
Right.
And I do not regret it a single bit because we had them right away, just on pure chance. So, but those bumper guards cost as much as, if not slightly more, than getting my seats recovered, which I have to do again anyway because you guys will all know this now. Sorry. The pleat count is slightly off.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I didn't know the pleat count, but I had a picture.
I'm sorry.
And I gave the guy,
count?
I know.
What's a pleat count?
It's 11 on each side.
But what is that?
Oh, so the rows that you see on the seats.
Okay.
Yeah, the pleats. So I had offered to give the guy a reference image. He was like, no, it's fine. We talked about it enough. But neither of us actually had a number for the pleats.
Wow.
So I think he just went with, what was best. But it's fine. My husband will tell you we don't need to get that redone, and I will tell you I'm getting it redone.
Yeah, there are 4 letters that say you have to get it redone, right?
Yeah.
Now, I understand that he did the carburetor rebuild himself, right?
Yes, he's actually done. So he does all the mechanics himself. I am the helper. I do all the cosmetics myself. So we trade off. If anybody's going to be anal about what it looks like, it'll be me. If anybody's going to be anal about how it runs, it's going to be him.
When you were starting it, he was telling me, okay, but she has to do this. And
it takes a moment.
Yeah, I was like, we could push it out. I mean, being serious, he's like, no. She's going to want to do this. And
fun.
you did. You got it up. You got it going.
Yeah, it's great. You gotta hear her purr, man. Mm-hmm. It's more like a roar, as I say. So he did a full rebuild on the carburetor. We have all new spark plugs in there. We have our second brand new power steering system.
Oh.
Don't get me started.
Okay, we won't get started on it.
We don't know what happened the first time because it's all just stuff that's just old. Yeah. I mean, so we had replaced the alternator and the ignition control module.
It's not like you can just go down to Pep Boys and get this either.
There's a lot that you can actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's great about this car is even though it's old, there are plenty of modern day swaps that work just fine. They will all be compatible. It's just a machine. It's just an engine.
Oh, okay.
That's actually the easiest part of it, is the mechanics of the car and not any of the cosmetics. Because if there's anything in this car that you need to replace and somebody out there had no idea and they threw these pieces away not knowing they were necessary, or that you would never, that they don't have reproductions of them, then you are SOL.
Yeah.
And you have to hope that somebody else somewhere has it and is selling it for you to use.
Yeah.
So that's definitely, luckily, not something we've had to come across yet. But mechanics-wise, very, very easy. So he likes to go through, I went through jegs for the wheels, which are the chrome blade wheels from the show. And he's gone through jegs for a couple of other items. We go to AutoZone constantly. It is a frequent flyer pace. And then his favorite right now is Summit Racing.
Oh, yeah.
For parts as well. Okay. So we have no problem, thankfully, getting the mechanics together for the car. It's really just about figuring it out. Because sometimes, because it's older, we can't really diagnose it ourselves. So if it comes to that, we do now have a shop that we consider reliable, thankfully, and that's Pellegrini Performance down the road, and they work on a lot of classic cars and sport cars. Wow. Yeah, so they were the ones to replace our power steering system for the second time.
And
when we gave up, yes. Yeah. No, we did it right the first time. We did. It was working. Okay. It was working for 2 weeks.
And then something happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't know. We have no idea, and it's just so much money.
Yeah.
So we let them handle it and figure it out. He did replace there was a loose ball bearing or something in the pump. So he replaced the whole circuitry system all over again, which was the pump and the gearbox and all of the lines, and put in a filter, and it's been fine since. So we're just just leave that alone. But yeah.
Well, awesome. It's an amazing history, and of course, you'll be able to go to these links and see more close-up photos, all of the good stuff. And so, again, look for us both to be at CajunCon, and then all of these other cons come up close. And if you come and take a picture with it, you do. It goes to all the money goes to fixing up more things.
Straight back up to the car.
Right,
yeah,
right.
There's no frivolous spending when it comes to what we happen to make off of the car, unless you count obviously buying anything for the car as frivolous spending, which it kind of is. So it will either go into some kind of mechanic that we need, or into a prop purchase. So everything
Like a grenade launcher.
correct. Yes,
Okay.
like a grenade launcher. So
See that on the Christmas list.
that'll be the case for a while. Is anything we earn goes straight back into the car, either towards the note or towards something that it needs. So
That sounds awesome.
so until it's paid off, we got 40 grand to go, guys.
Well, that's great. Well, we've still got, what, 1, 2, 3, our top. Ooh, you get a quarterback. We still got 2 each of our favorite moments. So I say we go out, get back to it.
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right, here we go. Can't believe I said top after doing that all the time. All right, so now that we've talked about that, now we're going to talk about the part that every Hungarian anxiously sits around the one computer screen that they share in the village to find out.
What?
Yeah, it's what our, ready?
Oh, penultimate.
Nobody says penultimate.
Our number 2, but not number 2 in a bad way, number 2 in a good way.
Yes.
What is your, now I know you didn't order yours, so one would assume this was your second favorite
Yes, so
moment.
I did make sure to order them before we talked, because
Oh,
I would have
okay.
had a hard time.
Okay, yeah.
But this was still difficult.
All right.
I mean, just the ones in the middle were difficult. The first one and the last one were easy enough. But that being said, and I'm going to avoid the word, but this scene
Mm-hmm.
is one that has always stood out to me.
Okay.
I'm very carefully avoiding that
I
word.
noticed that.
I'm not doing it. And it's one that always sticks out in my memory, that I always go back to, where I'm like, if you didn't get to this point in the show, you need to, just for this moment. And that is the season finale of season 8, Sacrifice, the church scene,
Wow.
interspersed with the angels falling.
Yes.
Everybody loves the church scene between Dean and Sam. There's no getting around it. There's nothing more beautiful than, Dean coming in there being like, you can't do this. You're gonna die. We can't let this happen. And Sam's like, we fought so hard for this. And he's admitting to all this shame and guilt that he has felt since he was a kid.
Right.
We learn in that season, because he felt like, this is Leo, guys.
Hi, Leo.
Because he felt like,
Hi.
I know, I call him the Big Bear.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
hi, buddy. Do you want to sit?
So, yeah,
My
this is
part.
really a quaint, dead-end street where nothing really happens.
It's so, I'm so
got-
serious.
We've got canines joining the show.
So, for that moment, so we've learned in that entire season that Sam has felt like there's been something wrong with him from the start, that maybe he felt that demon blood from the start, and that's so poignant in that moment, because he's not wrong. They really could, if they could just take away from it,
Yeah.
they would solve all their problems. Even my husband watching it was like, oh my God, because he's very much like the logical one. But we love seeing that Dean's like, there's nothing coming ahead of you for me. There's nothing more important, screw the world.
Right.
Which we've learned many times is absolutely the case for both of them. You matter more, and there's nothing better than that. And then you get that immediately followed up with the beautiful special effects of the angels falling.
I know, that was something else.
Absolutely the most beautiful shot in the entire show, the angels falling from heaven. I cannot ever put anything above that, which is why, weirdly, that scene it's the second to last for me.
Okay.
And I have that for good reason. But you can't beat it. It's just
So
beautiful.
it's not the bottom. It'd be at what point of your list? It's not the bottom list.
It's No, I'm not doing that. It's the penultimate.
I need that quarter. Well,
you can't get to me.
Yeah, that's a really great one because I hadn't really thought about that one. Because honestly, it is the scene of the angels falling, and then the next episode when the angels are on Earth and they're all like, "What the hell do we do now?" You know, it was so great. But my penultimate, okay, we've already briefly touched on it. Comes from changing channels. Okay, I loved. Okay, so you've got this episode. You've got the episode where they come.
Hi. We should really do a tally.
I'm telling you.
Sunday, I don't know what to tell you, man.
People are going to be so drunk if they're doing shots every time somebody drives by this dead-end street.
We should put a counter in the corner, you know?
Yeah, let's go do that.
that should be your quarter for the episode, honestly.
But there's this episode. There's the episode where they break through into real life, where they're recording the episodes.
Every meta episode is phenomenal.
They're so good.
Yeah.
But the reason that I specifically chose this one is because you get to see a lot of different things. Because they're literally changing channels, okay? Yeah. So, of course, and this is Trickster doing it. Trickster or Loki or whatever you want to call him.
Yes.
Yeah. But Dean has to star in an ad for a drug for a sexually transmitted disease. And you can tell when he's doing, he's like, oh, okay, great.
Sam.
Sam. I'm sorry, Sam.
He's like,
yeah,
you got this, man.
You got this. Yeah. And then immediately following it, they switch to Dean and Baby, with one distinct difference. Now Baby has a red light bouncing back and forth.
Yes.
And Sam is the voice of Kit in Baby. Okay? Oh my God. And I know I'm older than you are. I grew up watching Knight Rider. I grew up watching Kit and saying how awesome it must be to have a car. I mean, I have a Kit now. It literally, the cars talk to us. They tell us where to go.
Yeah.
Everything. But to just, and then you get inside and you see Sam talking and it's perfect.
Which, I can't remember if it was, I think it was Bob Singer, who mentioned wanting to write that in. Because he was a fan. I want to say it was Bob. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
But they actually bring it up on Robin Rich's podcast.
Oh, really?
That was very intentionally done.
Yeah.
Because they, he always had that feeling with Baby, and that, he kind of based it off of that. So he was like, this is my chance to bring it in to the show.
I always thought, and this is totally tangential, I always thought that they should have an anti-Baby in an episode. Just like, we've seen other things. We see where they have to hide Baby and they're driving around in that crap.
Garbage.
Yeah,
I don't even remember what it was.
I don't either. But they hated it.
Yeah.
I always thought it would be kind of cool to see either an anti-Baby or maybe just like one that was all in white when there was something else. But here I am trying to perfect a show that's already, perfect. So I want to.
Might get some people countering them.
Yeah. Luckily, there's only 27 people who watch the show, so
okay.
and only 7 of them speak English. But anyway, that's what I love is to see him in Baby. So
you got something out of it. There's so many references.
So many.
So.
We've covered a lot of this when we talked about during our break about how great this car is and all the little things in it. But Baby was the third brother, or later on the fourth brother comes along. But Baby was the third.
Baby's home.
Yeah.
Baby gets her own episode for a reason.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
And the fact that I don't have her that episode on this list is a crime. But again, 327 episodes.
You got to put it in somewhere.
I know. We all love Baby.
Yeah. Not
got it. Yeah. No, right.
There's.
Yes. Well, I don't know. I think I love her a lot.
Yeah, but would you murder if somebody took her? Would you murder them all?
I'd be really upset.
That's what
I'd probably hunt them down. I've got the gear for it, but they'd have my gear.
Oh, that's true. But would you have the grenade launcher?
Well, it's in process.
Okay. God.
Getting
grenade
the real
launcher.
thing is like $3,000 in case you were ever curious.
No, but you know what you should do when you do the trunk or treat?
Yeah.
You should get one of those big Nerf guns.
Oh, yeah.
And it could be your grenade
Oh,
launcher.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, I have them
You
occasionally.
gotta do that.
But you know what's a really good idea?
Sorry, I don't understand.
I don't know why she thinks we're talking.
She thinks
to
I'm
her.
getting asking her to get me a grenade launcher. Okay, we're not going to do this anymore. What we are going to do is find out what your your favorite moment from all 370
327 episodes.
See, that's why I have somebody who knows it better than I do. What's your favorite moment?
So, this is a recent ranking for me, I guess you could say, a recent placement. And it isn't even because I haven't actually even rewatched this yet. I sort of did because I did sort of a recap fan video edit for the 20th anniversary air date recently. So, in case you missed it, very recently was Supernatural's actual 20th birthday of the pilot airing that was on September 13th. And then even more recently was Castiel's anniversary, his birthday, so to say. Lazarus Rising was on the 18th. So I did a little like...
Just 2 days ago when we were filming.
Yeah. So I did a little...
Is that what the extra birthday cake pieces were?
Absolutely.
I wondered.
So I did a little, summary, a very, very quick summary of every single season.
And here's, you can go right here to see it.
Yeah, I'll happily put that in there.
It's already there.
Okay, oh yeah. Listen. Anyway, so when doing that, obviously I had to scour the seasons, especially the later ones, because a lot of the later ones I've only seen so many, maybe twice, because it's a lot, and most of us have seen the early seasons a good few more times, and not to say that there isn't anything to enjoy, but going back through them, a very prominent one for me that I think I'm going to keep at the top of my list was the way that they ended season 14 to prepare you for season 15. I think it's unbeatable.
Okay.
And it is, obviously they're in the graveyard, so that's just to get the title out for you. That's Mariah, season 14, episode 20. And what's interesting, and again, I will put the fun fact.
Sponsored by Red Dog Terrain.
You're welcome. In there, first because it's very conducive to, what's going on in that scene, which Mariah is two different things. Number one, it's the location of where Abraham was supposed to sacrifice Isaac. And number two...
it's a bad singer from the 90s.
Number two was... it also actually means chosen by God, or Yahweh. So very relevant in this, yes, exactly, in this moment, because it is the revealing scene where Dean is at the graveyard with Jack, Cass has popped back up, Chuck and Sam have just shown up. Sam's like, why don't you stop this? Can you stop this? Because Dean is pointing the gun at Jack. Jack's like, it's okay, I'm a monster, I understand, which is its own movie thing, because he's not a monster. He is dangerous, but it's not really his fault. And Dean shows all of this amazing growth, even just in that season, by putting the gun down. And Chuck has his immediate reaction where he's like, no, that's not how this is supposed to go. That's not the way the story ends. This is how it needs to go, which is Abraham sacrificing Isaac. It's epic. It's legendary. That's the way it's supposed to be. And Dean's like, well, what the heck are you talking about? And Sam's like, he's doing this. He's been doing all of
along.
this.
Yeah.
And it's this phenomenal culmination where you do get to understand that God's the bad guy. God's going to be the bad guy. They get through this where, he's like, if you do this right now, I'll bring Mary back. And again, you see Dean's growth where he, for once, is not, willing to sacrifice everything for somebody that he loves. And he says, no, that's not right. She's happy where she is. She's safe. This isn't right. What you're doing is not right. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And they obviously argue, and Sam shoots God, and he goes, okay, you know what? Story's over. That's it, you're done. And when he does that, and they do that whole closing out, the song that starts playing is God Was Never On Your Side.
Oh, I never missed that. I never caught that.
Yeah, and so that entire culmination, and then adding that onto the end.
And then what he does to Jack.
What he does to Jack, and they do this whole prep for you, showing where it's going. You know, they've released all the souls and stuff that Dean and Sam had previously fought and put to rest, and you see Dean Jack in the empty with death, and you know that's going somewhere. It's an amazing build-up to prepare you for the first episode of season 15, which I won't talk about because I'll be honest, the first 3 episodes of season 15 are a drag. So I don't know why they needed it to be 3 episodes to do that one problem, but that build-up, I don't think you can get around it.
It doesn't say something like, this is the end. This is the beginning of the end.
Exactly.
That's it. Yeah, beginning of the end. Yeah,
wonderful.
Yeah.
And another, just one of those great times where they showed you their musical prowess, where they really brought it back into the fold to really be a part of the scene and not just in the background. So.
Excellent. Give it up.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go.
Can you beat it?
I can, because my number ones are always better than everyone else.
Okay, all right.
And if you don't agree, I'll just add it into the show later that you do.
Okay. I'll make sure, I'll throw in a little like,
there you go. There you go. Yeah. So this is going to kind of, I don't want to say cause a disservice, because the show Supernatural obviously is about the Winchester boys. Okay? So any favorite moment should be about the Winchester boys. Okay? But my favorite is not. And I will tell you, when I sat down to make this list, there were 2 things. Okay, that's okay. But when I sat down to make this list, there were 2 things that I knew I was going to have on this list. Okay? One of them was going to be Scooby Natural. Because as a child, growing up, that was what I watched. It was on all the time. So when it came to that, I had to have that moment where these boys who have grown into men chasing real demons, and the group that I grew up watching chasing real monsters finally meet, and one of them tells the other the monsters are real. Hey, I knew right away that was going to be that. I didn't realize it was going to be that.
It was an instant classic.
It was. For me, my favorite moment comes in season 3.
Oh.
Okay? Episode 16. It is called No Rest for the Wicked. Okay? So we've seen Lilith. We know later on what she does, how important she is to Sam and his journey and all of that. But when Lilith shows up in the body of the little girl, who is so sweet, and when we see her come down after playing with the cats, who's still on her dress, and the way the air, the oxygen, the life sucks out of the room when she walks in, and her parents and her grandfather, where the grandmother is no longer there, which we get into later.
Yeah.
The way that this young girl, this young actress, is able to have this demon stare and still look so...
She was terrifying.
Terrifying. And then when the grandfather missteps and tries to get down at the mailbox, tries to get help, and she instantly knows about it. And then when she... So I've got to say, probably the favorite moment is after she kills the grandfather. He falls over dead, and she's like, I'd like another piece of cake. I was just like, oh. I mean, it's like chills.
Yeah.
You know, and later on, Lilith, inhabits a beautiful woman and all of these other things. But the fact that deep of an evil was rooted in this little girl, just, it blows me away. And for me, it speaks on a bunch of different levels about what supernatural was.
Yeah.
And it was about facing evil in all of its many faces.
Yeah.
One of them being this super cute little, and it was so early, and it was season 3.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually remember on one of my very first rewatches, when I had only been able to see part of the show growing up, because I didn't know which channel was airing on.
CW,
I barely I barely had TV in my room, and we weren't allowed to stay up.
The dark years, right?
Terrible, right. So whenever I could get around to properly watching it and keeping up with it, I actually, because most people, parts of that show really stick in your mind of like what was terrifying. So the season 1 episodes with like the water and people being pulled under the water, you're like, ooh, I remember that one being scary. I remember Bloody Mary being scary. But I always remembered that Lilith, being a little girl, creeps the heck out of me the first time you meet her like that. That's
and she's got
definitely
what's left of the cat on her dress.
I know. She's spooky. She's spooky. I thought, like you said, that little girl, that actress, great job.
Yeah. All right, so you're judging me. How do I fare?
I think that's a pretty solid, top 1. And I think
50 cents.
people who want to judge whether or not you picked a scene with the boys in it. I mean, it's a big show.
It's a big show.
There's a lot going on.
Do you know how many minutes of Supernatural there is?
I don't.
It's right here. Can you believe that many?
That's an insane amount of time.
It is an insane amount of time.
And you know what I will tell you
What?
is I basically watched it nonstop. I do know that if you were to watch it without sleeping, I think it's like 10 days.
Wow.
Which does not seem like enough time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it might be 13.
I'll break it out to how many days it would be too, right there.
But I do know when I did a binge watch with a friend at the start of last year, we did it in less than 2 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and that was with like a 2-week pause for 15 because we didn't want to start the final.
Oh, wow. So how many times have you watched it, would you say?
Not as many as you think.
Oh, okay.
So, if I had to count, because I haven't watched it complete, I'm only about to watch it complete for the second time.
From start to finish?
Yes.
Okay.
But prior to that, attempted a whole rewatch on my own a couple of years ago. Before that, when I was watching it, was when it was live.
Okay.
So I would say, for the a first big chunk of the show, 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then on the back half of the show, this is really only the second time that I'm watching it.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm not even the second half. Like this is the last, from 11, mid-11 onwards, roughly. This is the second time that I'm watching it.
I also like to do a little thing where I put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're on a deserted island.
Okay.
You have a magic TV, and it can show 1 episode of Supernatural. Okay. So it doesn't have to be your favorite, but it's the one that you can watch and rewatch over and over and over again. Real quick, the genie's in front of you. What episode does it play?
It's going to be The Man Who Would Be King.
Okay.
It would, yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
I like that. That was quick. I enjoyed it. I would do Scooby Natural.
Which is...
It's fun.
Yeah.
And
I mean, obviously the other obvious contender would just be the pilot.
Yeah. But I have to tell you, Netflix ruined the pilot for me. Because every time it comes up, it starts playing stuff from that episode. And I'm like, God, guys, come on. It's the whole scene where they're in the diner and they're talking to the girl.
Yes.
It's like, okay, pick another scene.
Every time.
There's 372,427 minutes. Or however many it is.
However many it says.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. But, well, that's great. Well, listen, thank you so much for having me out to this quiet, out-of-the-way, just quaint little spot.
It's been quiet. It started to get quiet. It usually is.
At the end.
Yeah, at the end. No, honestly, my pleasure and my honor. Thank you, because I have never even imagined getting on somebody's podcast, big or small. So it's really cool to just be able to show off my gorgeous baby here and talk about the show with other people who are nerds. So I'm really glad that we met and that you had finished the show when we met.
Me too.
Because
it was right there. We had just finished it, And let me tell you, it's a commitment. I mean, there's what,
it is.
32 seasons or something like that. So you got to watch a lot. But I'll tell you, it was definitely worth watching. So again, thank you so much for having us out here, and for Chris inside.
Yeah.
You know, for putting
out.
us up.
Tent.
Yeah, it was
It's
very
hot.
nice, and even a blanket thing there. It worked out very well. So thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
And don't forget, it may not be the best, it may not be the most popular, but if it's your favorite, that's good enough for us. Take us out, Emily.
Carry on, as they say. We'll have to throw that in there.
Yeah, there you go.